Hello and welcome. We've made it to episode 5 of Casual Critics. Tonight we have Mike Linetti.
Hi.
Your introduction has never changed, my friend, in as many episodes as we've done this. It's always, hey.
Why ruin a good thing? I mean, come on.
Unfortunately, Josh Bratton will not be joining us tonight. He's actually downstairs as I'm recording this with you guys. He is a little hungover from a very, very interesting night last night. Yes.
We expect stories in episode 6.
You might actually get some. So we have a special guest joining us tonight from Ramble on Rumbles. We have Eric Muller.
Ahoy, ahoy. Thanks for having me, guys.
Why, hello. Can we use your special tag?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tonight with us via Skype is the clever Eric Muller.
Thank you. Thank you.
So tonight we actually have kind of a big episode considering that we actually missed February. I mean, people have lives and stuff gets in the way and we can't really do everything we want to do when we want to do it. Yeah.
Priorities, jobs, who cares?
Can't win them all, right? So we're doing is we're doing February and March together. So we got kind of a big episode here. So what we're going to talk about tonight is the big game that came out February is Horizon Zero Dawn. And then the one that came out this month, which was last week, is Mass Effect Andromeda. However, before we get into those, let's take a quick minute and do our first segment of the evening where we just kind of briefly talk about a different game that we've been playing over the month. So aside from Horizon Zero Dawn and Mass Effect, we have to appreciate those other titles that keep us busy while we wait for these big games to come out.
The filler games,
the indie games, the games that don't get enough credit.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to do tonight is we're each going to pick one, and we're going to give a quick why are we even talking about this tonight kind of review. Okay? So with that, I'm going to give it to Mike so he can start off, considering I believe the game he's going to talk about is Night in the Woods. Is that right?
Yep, Night in the Woods.
Yeah, you just
I love
streamed
some indie games. I did. I streamed it for the channel. I beat it once. I'm close to beating it a second time for trophy purposes, but I like it. It's got a very good art style, and it's very similar to Firewatch, where the charm of the game is in the writing. Like that's what makes you stick around. I feel is the writing. It's very good.
If you had to compare it to another game, what would you compare the playstyle to?
It's a side scroller. Life is Strange. I don't know. It's a story-based game. There's very minimal gameplay. It's from a 2D side perspective. I mean, you play as a college dropout, you return home, and, the town that you come back to is not exactly what you remember. Strange things are happening, and you got to kind of figure out what's going on with that. It touches on some interesting themes of, coming home and failing and mental illness and some supernatural elements, but it came out of left field. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did.
It's true. I saw you playing it for quite a while there, in and out of your Horizon.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, $20 if you ever see it on sale for 10, I would definitely consider it. I mean, it's got a very interesting story. It's got great, clever writing, a lot of good characters in there. But yeah, I recommend it. I really like it.
Yeah, I was watching you stream it there when it first came out, and it looked pretty interesting. It was I like the arts thing too. I just haven't gotten to it yet. But if I had to say it looked kind of like the way Limbo plays, but not so dark and creepy like Limbo is. But
no, that's a good comparison. I did not even think of the Limbo connection. Yeah, I mean, side scroller, but it's not really, jumping. It's story based. You're going around, you're talking to people, you're solving puzzles, you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. There are a few mini games where like you smash fluorescent bulbs, or you have a knife fight with one of your friends, or it's just
normal college stuff.
Yeah, typical stuff. But
I just came up from college, just talking about my thesis statement, and I'm stabbing you.
Pretty much. I mean, she lives in a Rust Belt town in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. And as Tony can speak, because we took a road trip, that had to have been 6 years ago. The middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, there is nothing to do.
True story. Yeah, where did we go? Centralia?
Centralia, yep. It was an interesting experience. But yeah, I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea. Like I said, it's 20 right now. If it's on sale for 10, I would give it a whirl. I mean,
what about you, Eric? You got something you want to talk about?
Yes. I'm going to talk about a game that you can pick up on Steam called Gang Beats. And the reason I'm going to recommend this game is because, we all like to play fighting games. We have Injustice 2 coming out in a couple months. We have Smash Brothers, but those are for the pros. I'm talking about a game where it's just like how we would actually fight in real life, where you're just running around slapping each other while wearing furry costumes. That is Gang Beats, where it's literally you and I think at least up to four other friends can just play and just literally just punch each other around on various levels wearing ridiculous costumes. It is a great party game. It's a great time waster. I think it's like sometimes it's 20, sometimes it's $10. I highly recommend picking up that game.
Oh, buddy, that's the one that you were playing when I came over there to
Yeah,
record
when you
with you,
came over
right?
for when we were recording for Ramble On About Movies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That game actually looked really fun. There were 4 people playing it when I went over there. Aside from like Eric, you and I weren't playing it; we were actually spectating. But yeah, there were
Yeah.
4 people sitting on the couch playing this game, and they were just like they were screaming at each other. They were, I'd never seen so much energy in one room before over a game. It was quite entertaining.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a fighting game, but it's not like the fighting game where you have to like learn combos, learn fatalities, or stuff like that. You literally all you do is just beat the crap out of each other and throw each other off at like ledges and stuff like that. It's great.
Yeah, like all you had was a punch and a grapple to throw.
Yep.
Super simple.
Yeah, it's a super simple, fun game, but yeah, you can play it with a group of people, friends over and play it.
You said that's on Steam? Is that only on Steam or
I
is it
believe
on...
so, yes. And it's another indie game, so there you go.
Oh, so you had your PC hooked up when I came over for that?
Yep.
Because it looked like you were playing on Xbox.
Yeah, well, because we use the Xbox controllers for it.
Naturally, Windows and what have you.
Exactly.
As for my game, I really haven't been playing anything other than the Mass Effect that's out right now, except for this one game that kind of I've been looking at for the longest time. It was actually, if you listen to one of our previous episodes, Mike, you and I were talking about like the game that we wish we could have played that we never got around to.
Mm-hmm.
Well, last year that game for me was The Witness, and the reason I never played it was because, well, it had a $40 price tag on it. But for those who are unfamiliar with what this game is, let me ask you this, Eric. Have you ever played Myst?
I have.
Yeah? Well,
Yeah.
That's what this game is. It's the 21st century version of Myst.
Sign me up.
Yeah, so I saw it was on sale in the store. It was like $20, so I figured why not just pull the trigger. There's really no story behind what's going on in this game, but it's so similar to Myst in the sense that you're secluded on this puzzle island that's broken into different sections. Like you have your standard water area, desert area, a tree house, and after you finish each major puzzle, you'll close out the area and it'll help open the way to the ending. Now, the thing is I haven't beaten this game yet, and I really don't see myself beating it anytime soon. With a $40 price tag, I highly suggest not picking this game up. Thing is if I were to look up the answers, I could probably game in like maybe 20 minutes, which really doesn't make a price tag of anything over $20 worthwhile. So I'm pretty much just going to handle this game without spoilers, without a guide. Actually try and do it legit like we had to back in the days of Myst.
Right, like when Myst was originally out there.
Yeah, like I even found myself
trying to beat
notepad.
those puzzles. God.
Oh yeah, I had a notepad and I used my camera phone so I could take pictures of certain puzzles, and I had to write down all the answers just to get through it. I mean, nothing has changed from Myst to The Witness. So if you could find this game for like $10, $10 totally worth it, because you know how you are. You're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna look up an answer, and once you get one of them, you're gonna look for them all, and then you're gonna beat the game in 20 minutes. So
yeah, I feel like the sweet spot for me for that game is probably like $15, because I've been wanting to play that game too, because I love puzzles, and just it's got like, I don't know if you call it cartoony, but it's not a realistic art style. But it's got an interesting art style.
Yeah, it's like a cross between cell shade and cartoony.
But it's really not cell shade. Okay. It's hard to describe, but it's like if I saw that for $15, I'd pick it up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and what's really cool is all the puzzles. They're they interlock with each other. For example, the very first map area, you can breeze right through it, and you kind of learn the idea of how it works. And then when you move on to the next one, you'll make it halfway through. You'll come up to a new puzzle that you've never seen before, and you can't progress. So you'll leave, you'll go to another side of the map, you'll see that same puzzle, and you'll learn it real quick. And then you'll go back to where you were, finish that puzzle out, and you kind of do that back and forth. So you'll never really finish one whole area of the map in one sitting. You kind of have to use the entire map to figure out the puzzle. So it's actually really cool.
And they're not like frustrating puzzles like the Riddler.
No, not at all. In fact, actually, it's funny because Mike, you and I were actually just talking about the Riddler puzzles.
About what was it? What was the second one? Arkham City. There was like 1,000 of the damn things.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's not like that.
I
Although
just
in this
did
one,
enough to where you beat them, and I was like, okay, I'm good.
that's about right.
Yeah.
I think there's 664 puzzles in The Witness.
I was gonna say I remember reading interviews and reviews when the game first came out, and the creator said there's like around 600 puzzles in the game. Not all of them are required to beat the game, but
Correct.
there are around 600 if you are an absolute nutter.
Challenge accepted.
Done.
Done.
So yeah, if you like puzzles, go for that one. Only if it's got a price tag of like $15 or less.
Yeah, man. It looks fun. I'm not gonna lie. I love games like that.
Now that we got that out of the way, this, I imagine, is the moment we've all been waiting for. And I know I've been waiting for it.
At least 2 months.
I see what you did there.
Sorry, didn't mean it as the bird.
No worries. So let's talk about Horizon Zero Dawn. Mike, you were the only one between us that has platinumed this game already. Granted, it's been out for a month now, but you platinumed it in, what, 3 weeks?
I did. Sure. Let's go with that.
So yeah, tell me about this. What the hell is Horizon Zero Dawn?
It is, believe it or not, made by the studio that made Killzone, and it is an open world. They described it as a post-apocalypse game. Like the apocalypse has happened and the world has adapted, and you kind of play in that period where everything's normal again after the calamity. And you play as this woman named Aloy, which annoys me because that's another story. But you're roaming around. There's robot dinosaurs, and you got to figure out what's going on. You've been an outcast your whole life. You're trying to figure out why you're an outcast. No one will talk to you, and you find out the answer to that, and that opens up another can of worms. And you got to go find that out. That opens up another can of worms, and you discover this giant overarching plot, and then it's just. Well, you know how open world games are. It's just like that, except there's robot dinosaurs. The combat's just fun as hell.
Yeah, tell me about the combat. Like, what's that all about? How does that work?
It's mostly range-based. You do have a melee weapon, but it does not change at all. Like, from the beginning to the end of the game, you have a fast move and a strong move, and that's it. Bows, you have different type of bows. You have a long bow, you have a short bow. You can have a tripcaster, which fires a rope that if anybody trips it, it can give off electricity, fire. It can blow up. You got bombs. You got rope caster. You can tie down the enemy so like they can't run away. So you can just like trap them and just go up and wail on them.
Like a snare trap?
Yep, pretty much.
So are you Katniss Everdeen in this, or?
You're basically Ygritte from Game of Thrones. You're a fiery redhead who has a quip and a comment about everything. And her character's really good. It's one of those games where, like, if you talk about the story, you can't talk about the story without spoiling anything, which sucks because I've kind of mentioned to Tony, I beat it, and you learn why the world ended. You learned why the world continued on after the calamity, and the science makes sense. The reason why there are robot dinosaurs makes sense. Why the humans did what they did makes sense. It's a very well thought out story. Can I discuss? You never played the original Mass Effects, have you, Tony? Are you going to go back and play them at all?
I'm not going to bust my PS3 out for it.
Okay.
Well, they don't have backwards capability on the PlayStations? That's so weird.
I know. It's weird. The logic of what they did is very similar to the Reapers in Mass Effect. Like, it makes sense in a very cold, calculated sense. It makes sense why they did what they did. So... And it was actually written by the lead writer of Fallout New Vegas, which is probably like one of my top 5 favorite games. So it's a very well thought out story. And but like I said, it's such a bugger to discuss it without spoiling anything.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit more about like the environment and it's an open world game. It's a sandbox game, like you were saying, right? What about like side quests? How well do those interlace?
Not touch any of them and not miss a damn thing.
Wow.
There's like maybe 20 side quests throughout the whole game.
Well, what do you get from them? Do you get like special weapons or?
You get experience and you get, pieces of lore. If you do all of them, you get a trophy. So that's the main reason why I did it. But no, you could just plow through the main story, not touch a single one and not miss anything. Like I said, the only thing you're really missing out on is lore. Like that's the biggest thing you're probably missing out on, which in this world, I was really fascinated with the lore, so I was doing the side quests anyway because it's such an amazing world. Like, it's very interesting what they've done with it, and I'm excited to see where they go with it because there's going to be a sequel. Because why wouldn't there? But
yeah, and watch them throw like a multiplayer into the sequel.
Boo! No, don't.
All right, so let me ask you this because I really want in a game is co-op. So if, let's say for the sake of argument, this game had co-op, do you think it would be worthwhile, or do you think that would just kind of like fuck shit up?
It might screw with the balance because towards the end of the game, you're taking down monsters or you're taking down creatures that just whooped your ass, and at the end of the game, you're taking them down with little to no issue. So unless there was a balancing mechanic, I feel like it would be really one-sided. It would be interesting. Like, I could pin it down with ropes and you could just smash it with an elemental bomb and we could just tag team it. I mean, that would be interesting, but they would have to figure out a way to balance it because you could just take down these creatures so fast with 2 people.
And probably power level in the process, right?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Your buddy shows up late to the game. You go to the end stage levels, and they're max level in a half hour. That's how it is.
All right. So, what are your overall thoughts on this game then? Because I mean, you were actually pretty psyched about this coming out for a while.
I was. I chose it over Resident Evil 7. I don't know if that was a smart move, but like I mentioned in the other podcast, I'm a sucker for new intellectual properties. I love new series, so I gave it a whirl. I think I bought it at full price, so I think it's worth for it. If you could wait till it's $30, it's an absolute steal. I love the story. There's no stupid twist.
Aw, but stupid twists are what I live for.
No,
isn't that what modern games all are? Just one stupid twist after another.
It's just M. Night Shyamalan sticking his hand all the way up there.
Nah, the story's good. Moist, quivering giblets. Fun. But like I said, once you reach end level, the enemies are kind of a pushover. The world is really interesting. I mean, they could do standalone DLC in this world, and it would be just as good. Like maybe as a different character or a different region, you could just explore the world that way. Which is weird because I was just gonna say, which is weird in this day and age, they have not talked about DLC at all. So they could be planning something, or they could just say, "Screw it, we're moving on to the next game. This game doesn't need DLC." It was maybe one of those rare games where right out of the gate it was a complete package. We don't know. Guerrilla Games hasn't come out and said anything because I was thinking about that. What's the DLC for this game? They haven't announced any besides, stupid pre-order bonuses and that shit. They haven't really said, oh, there's going to be an expansion or there's going to be a season pass or yada, yada, yada. They've been silent on the matter. So I'm thinking they delivered a complete game and they're just saying, screw it, let's go on to the next.
It's really weird considering most games show a season pass before the game actually is released.
Which I was going to say, which is oddly refreshing.
Yeah, something we've never seen in at least 2,500 years.
Pretty much.
Seems like it.
Yeah, since at least the PS2 era.
Yeah, no joke. Since before digital download.
I recommend it. I mean, if you can find it for $30, absolutely. If you want a good open world action game, go for it. I mean, I loved it. I beat it. I platted. I paid full price, and I'm not angry. I'm happy with the package. I would play it again if my life wasn't a little busy right now, but yeah.
All right, one last question about that then. If you could compare the open world sandbox to another game, playstyle wise, what could you give me?
I would have to Saints Row.
Ooh.
Because
Ooh.
I mean, it's a little arcadey. I mean,
you have my attention.
You're taking on robot dinosaurs, for God's sake. So it's a little arcadey. I mean, you're going to shoot a giant metal beast with wooden bows or wooden arrows. Yeah, that's going to do any damage. So it's a little silly in that regard, but, they're both third-person open-world action games. You're doing different things, but it's that's the best way. I mean, it's not a Fallout. It's not Borderlands. It's, I would have to say Saints Row or maybe, what was on PS3? Infamous, maybe a little like that.
But not like a superhero kind of run around save the world, but that sort of feel like around the city.
It is a superhero. It's Hawkeye.
Yeah, you are Hawkeye. You are. I mean, I feel like that's the best way I could describe it. I mean, it's a little absurd in some of the things you can do, but, it's third person, it's open world. it doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, there are serious moments, but like even like not to spoil anything, but like the characters, like you're in this like cave and like there's obviously a very modern door and like she approaches it and it's like, we cannot scan you, like the module is bad or something, and the woman's like, oh, the goddess, she speaks, and Aloy is just like, it's a door, it's not a goddess, it's like it's self-aware to an extent.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's hard to compare it to anything because there's not really anything that's been
like it.
Like it. I mean, third person open world action games have been done before, but like, in this type of setting with this type of combat, I feel like it hasn't really been explored too heavily, so it's hard to find a comparison piece. But like Saints Row or Infamous, just kind of arcadey, kind of fun open world game. Yeah,
I get it.
It's the best way.
So not like if you were to run around in the Division.
No, I don't think so. No.
Very cool. Do you have any questions about this, Eric? Because I know I kind of want to play it.
It sounds interesting. I'll give him that.
Oh, but you know what? You can't play this game.
That's right.
Because you're on Xbox.
That's right. What? I'm sorry. I'm just showing my backwards capability.
To be fair, he can play Red Dead Redemption on current console.
That's true. Actually, that's the game I've also been playing before Andromeda.
You getting ready for the new one too?
Yep.
A little jealous of you, sir.
All right, well then, Mike, if you could go ahead and give that a rating, what would you give it?
I would have to say 4 out of 5.
Oh wow.
I don't know what I would knock it down on. It's just, for something to be perfect, like nothing's perfect, and it didn't. I mean, it blew my socks off, but it's not the sort of game where like you play it and then like you go to bed and like lay awake thinking about it. It's good. It's good story, fun combat, interesting world. But it's just like, I felt like, so like, I'm sure you've watched trailers and previews and shit like that. They mostly focus on the robots. Mm-hmm. There are human enemies called bandits. And I guess now that I think about it, their AI is rather simplistic compared to the robots. Like, you make a noise, they check it out, you sneak up on them and do a stealth kill, you repeat until the bandit camp has been cleared. So I feel like the human combat is rather lacking compared to the robot AI, which is everywhere. Some of them are like resistant to electricity, so you got to hit them with a firebomb or something, or they got special plates you got to knock off before you can do any damage. It's much more deep and strategic, that's the word. Whereas the humans lure them over to this bush and stealth kill them, and no one will ever find them.
Punch them in the face.
Pretty much. So yeah.
Simple and easy.
So I guess that would be my one dark spot on the cloud that is Horizon Zero Dawn.
Well, Eric, are you ready to talk about Andromeda?
Oh, I was born ready.
Excellent.
Ready, willing, and able.
I like it. All right, you want
the second I heard you were doing this, like, hey, can I hop on your podcast?
That's true, you did. And of course, we're always welcoming new people. In fact, we'll be talking about it a little later, but Injustice 2, when that comes out in May, we're going to have Erica May on.
Good choice.
Ooh.
May. Anyways, let's talk about Mass Effect. You want to go ahead and open the door on this one, Eric?
Oh, absolutely. Now, Tony, I think I was hinted at that earlier. You haven't played the original trilogy now, have you?
That is correct. I have not played 1, 2, or 3.
All right. So, the Mass Effect trilogy is one of my favorite game series. In fact, on my first date with the woman who would become my wife, we talked about the Mass Effect game series and how much we loved it. That's one of those ones when you know. But so Andromeda, I was excited. It's the reason why I finally got my next gen system, because I was waiting for that game to convince me to get it, since I'm an Xbox guy.
True.
So Andromeda, I was worried when I learned that the main creative team behind the original Mass Effect trilogy, and in Andromeda, I feel like you could feel their presence not being there, because again, I played the original trilogy. But I will say with this game, it took me a while to find my groove in it, but once I found my groove in this game, I loved it. I got into the world. I got into the main theme of the game, which is exploring, and that's what you have to do a lot of in this game, is actually explore.
Let me ask you something. How long did it take you to get into your groove?
About 10 hours, I will say.
Oh my god, that's so accurate.
Pretty much once you get your ship and get done with the first start exploring the first planet, that's when the game starts really coming alive. It really reminds me of the first Mass Effect game, where compared to the other two, it's not the best, because you spend the first part of that game on the Citadel for like 5-10 hours, it feels like, doing all these pointless side missions, blah blah blah, when all you want to do is go out, shoot people and make love to alien ladies or men, depending which gender you picked.
It's 2017. It's quite all right now.
Was I the only one who didn't go for the Asari in the original trilogy? I don't remember her name. Liara.
Liara?
Was I the only one who didn't go for her? I feel like everyone banged her.
Depend on the game through I went through. There's a when I was female shepherd, I always went with Liara because I thought Caden Alenko is like the worst romance. He is so boring. Like, a piece of paper is more interesting than him.
I went. My first Mass Effect was 2, and then I played 3, and I went back and I played 1, and I couldn't because the controls were atrocious. But
oh my god, you are preaching to the choir.
I went with Jack.
Jack's not the girl you could take home, but yeah, I dig it. I eventually went with Tally. She was my girl.
Yeah, I can see that too.
She's that nerd crush that you've always wanted.
Yeah, I can see that actually. Now, I got a question for you about the original trilogy. Do you subscribe to the indoctrination theory?
I do not.
You do not? Really?
I think that's just someone's way of getting over the lackluster ending of the third game.
I don't know, man. Too much stuff syncs up.
I get that, but at the same time, I just...
What is that you're referring to exactly?
You want to explain that?
So the way that Mass Effect 3 ends is like a pile of rubble, and then you hear Shepard gasping for breath. So that led a lot of people to believe that the final battle didn't really happen, and he was stood by the Reapers throughout the whole trilogy. And I'll send you the video. But I thought it was really
you only get that ending if you only select one of the 3 Instagram filters. You don't get it with the other 2.
I can't remember which filter I chose at the end, but
I think it's the red one where you decide just to shut them down.
Is that one? Yeah, because I didn't choose to control them, and I didn't choose to combine synthetic and organic life. So yeah, I must have chose that one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was
that as Shepard being so badass that he or she could fall from the Citadel, land on Earth, and be like, "All right,
still survive." Which Mass Effect of the original trilogy would you probably have to say is your favorite?
Oh,
because for me,
2's got 3's the best one for gameplay.
Gameplay, okay. I got to choose 2 because it's basically Ocean's 11 in space.
Yeah, I get that. I loved, 2 is the few ones where all the decisions leading up to the finale, it makes sense why you have to do everything so you can get that ending. But with 3, I like the concept. I love the building the army. I also loved how you can incorporate the multiplayer into it.
I never played the multiplayer.
I am not a multiplayer guy because I don't really like most. Actually, I hate most first-person shooters. But the Mass Effect multiplayer is so much fun for multiplayer. I'm like, now I can see why people freak out about this stuff.
Have you played the multiplayer on this new one?
I was going to say, how does it compare to Andromeda? Is it? Okay.
Yeah, same concept. You have the waves. You have a couple missions during those waves.
Okay.
So it continues, and you still have to get your points, buy the packs, get better weapons, get better characters.
Packs? Do you mean like with in-game currency or real money?
Okay, that's where it gets tricky because there is the in-game, much like Mass Effect 3, there is the in-game currency, but there is also microtransactions.
Okay. Is it strictly like cosmetic stuff, or is it like booster packs you're buying?
You're mainly getting like guns and characters and stuff like that.
Armor?
No armor really.
Are the guns like a one-time use, or are they just forever in your loadout?
Forever in your inventory.
Okay.
Although, I have to say, I am not a fan of how you equip your shit in this game.
Yes, that is a drawback.
See, the thing is I was so on board when this game came out. Like, I'd never played 1, 2, and 3. Never did. I missed the boat for that. And then when I heard that this one was coming out for the new gen, it was supposed to be like a soft reboot. Not a continuing off of 3, but not starting over. It's like they even marketed that the same way they did with Final Fantasy 15. You don't have to play the previous ones to be able to enjoy the shit out of this. So I was all on board. I'm ready to go.
Is it connected to the original trilogy in any way? Like, I'm just curious from like a plot standpoint.
Okay,
that's an Eric question,
and I will answer that question. So, the initiative, everything that the Andromeda initiative takes place after Mass Effect 2.
Okay.
Before Mass Effect 3, but what it is also is that it's set 600 years in a different galaxy.
Oh, so we have no idea what's happening in the Milky Way.
Correct.
Except that your guy is from the Milky Way. That's it.
Yeah. Everyone's from the Milky Way, but it's 600 years later in a different galaxy.
Interesting.
So they don't know about Reapers. They don't know there's a cure for the genophage. They don't know any of that stuff.
Do you land it and then die immediately to germs? Like, is that the first ending you get?
No, because you are wearing your suit.
Yeah. There is a cool quarantine. Yeah, there's a quarantine radiation zone sort of effect to it where you have to be within a certain range. If you jump into a radiation area, it'll just black screen and then respawn you from where you were. That's about the extent of that.
Can you eventually traverse those areas, like once you get a better suit or something?
You can get upgrades that improve your life support, but you're still, again, you're always wearing your suit.
Yep.
Yeah. And there are also times when your vehicle on the surface will protect you from everything. For example, there's one mission where you end up on an asteroid belt, and you have to be in your vehicle the entire time until you get to these gold bubbles that protect from the radiation, so you can go inside, and then that's when you start shooting and what have you, but protected with your suit, which is kind of nice. I gotta say, though, from the very beginning, you're absolutely right, Eric. This entire game it feels like the first 10 hours is just waiting to play, and that's how it felt for me. It was just dragging on for so long. It starts out in the ship, and then you go to the Nexus, I believe. And what's really funny is it's called Hyperion. Is that right?
Yes. The name of your ship is Hyperion. The name of the battle station is the Nexus.
Okay, so Hyperion. The Nexus itself is shaped like a giant H. So the entire time I'm playing this damn game, I'm thinking of Borderlands.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So on top of that, you walk around the space station and you're talking to everybody. The problem that I'm having with that is the dialogue is so dull in the very beginning. It's I'm forcing myself to get through the beginning of this. And then finally, I land on this planet, and I do whatever rudimentary missions that they have you do when you first land. And then when you finally get inside the very first vault, holy cow, does this game actually open up. Inside this first vault, I felt like I was playing Destiny, like a third-person Destiny.
Yeah, that's a good comparison for this game.
Yeah, the first level looks like the Vault of fucking Glass. Outside of that, once you finish doing all that mission, the combat is favorable. I'm a fan of the combat and being able to set up different... What are they called in this one? They're profiles?
Profiles, yeah.
Yeah, there's 6 or 7 different profiles that you can choose from that all have their own unique abilities, from throwing a grenade to doing the Titan Stomp, anything. You get a Jedi Force Push or a pull action, a Shockwave. So you get these cool abilities, and you get 3 of them of your choice depending on how you set up your character. The RPG aspect of it is actually spot on. It's actually a little too detailed. I found myself sitting there having to reread all the different things, spending about as much time as I was trying to get through the main story just to start playing the game, that I was actually reading these menus to try and figure out what it is I'm doing with these abilities. So with that, I gotta say it was a pretty tough clutch to try and get behind. But once the game starts going, it's got some momentum. There's a few times I feel like I can't do it anymore. I just sit here and I rage quit. I'm just talking to these people on this station. Come on, I just want to go fucking shoot something, for Christ's sake. I haven't done a single side quest in this game yet.
There a good amount of side quests, or are they kind of sparse?
Oh, buddy. This game is 70% side quests.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, yeah, all the side quests. And then to help explain how the profiles work, in the previous games, you actually get to choose your character's class, your shepherd's class. Here, you do have a class, but it really doesn't matter because you can do these profiles, which are the classes from the previous game. So you could be an engineer, and then the next second you could be an adept, or you could be a vanguard. So that to me is a little bit of a drawback because instead of being a master of one class, you're an expert at none, really, because you can based on the situation.
Interesting.
But yeah, but this combat is different than the original. For example, your main character can actually jump, as opposed to the last trilogy where your Shepard always just stood there, no matter what.
There was no jump in the either one in the early.
No, there wasn't.
No jump. No. I mean, and pretty much you knew when combat was coming because there was always like, oh, look at all these random boxes.
Chest high walls.
Now. Yep.
Now this one, it does have an automatic cover system, so it's hard if you played the other games, it's hard to get used to because you're so used to hitting like A to get to the cover where it's like, no, Ace now jump, so now I'm jumping up getting shot.
Yeah, and with all my time that I put into Division, which is a third-person cover-based shooting game, that's all I find myself doing. Getting behind cover and pressing circle for me because I'm on PlayStation Superior, and I just start screwing shit up.
Now, I will say the male hero this time actually has a better voice actor than the original male Shepard because he was god-awful.
Oh, did you make a male character?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I always go through one play male, and then I do another as the female.
Oh, right on. Now, Mike, if you've played multiplayer games with me, you should know what kind of character I created.
Ugly one?
Well, yeah. No, I made a black guy.
Oh, shit, of course. Yeah, I forgot about your Division alt.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about the graphics in this game because it looks nice, but characters' faces.
Dude, I cannot stand the graphics in this game.
Are the animations as bad as the internet makes it sound?
No, I don't think so. But there are like times where like I'm talking to somebody on my ship and then they're just running to the other room.
Or they're in the geometry. Like I've had somebody who's half in the floor while they're talking to me as the camera.
I have not had that happen.
Yep.
That's like already. Some Bethesda level shit.
Yeah, like I heard a lot of that could be compared. It's like there's some of the bugs and stuff like that.
Although, that's the thing though, because that's one of my major issues with this game right now is the graphics. Although I can't be mad about it, and I was actually just reading an article the other day, and forgive me, I can't remember the guy's name. You guys might know when I start talking about this. One of the developers who recently left and started working for Naughty Dog, he went on Twitter saying that it's unfair to compare the graphics between Andromeda and a game like Uncharted.
Yeah, I saw that article, yeah. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either, but it makes sense now that you think about it, because like this game is an RPG to its full extent. It's all about picking and choosing the right language for your character to go down this path. And with that being said, there are so many different programmable things that they recorded to be able to reach the full spectrum, and the algorithm that they have in there is only going to give you a certain set path. Like there's they said like 30% of what you're looking at you're not even going to see because of the paths that you choose, but they're in there because they have to be, and in doing so they had to downscale the graphics of the actual characters. I'm like, I get that, I do, at least when you're looking at like a Naughty Dog game like Uncharted or any other game that they do, they're phenomenal. It looks like you're actually looking at the character, but that's because the games are so linear that they can get away with putting those heavy graphics into a cutscene and then transfer into the game world.
Yep.
Which they can't do in this because of the options. Although I realize it would take away from what Mass Effect really is, but if they took out all of those choices, or at least the majority of them,
that's taking out a good part of it.
Yeah, I think I'd be more satisfied with it. I did try the multiplayer. I did try it. I wanted to see what it was all about, and it wasn't what I was hoping it was going to be. Like Eric said, it is very much like the third one. Like I've done a little bit of my research, and I've watched videos and seen what they did in the past to see what they would do in the future. And the only major difference that I'm seeing in these is that you're able to go in and out of your single player more easily than you were before.
Yeah, that's a nice feature I like. But of course, those missions are hard.
Yeah, how many waves are there? Because I think I made it to 8 before I just kind of...
depends on which... because the bronze, I think, is 7. Silver, I think, is 9, and then gold is 10.
Okay, so they range depending on the difficulty you choose.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but when you play with randoms, it doesn't have the
Good
same
old
effect,
randoms.
Didn't you say there was Tony, or was that just the multiplayer, or was that single player?
That's just the ability to go from single player to multiplayer in a push of a button. You don't have to, like, quit the game, transfer over to multiplayer, reload, resync, all this other BS. It's more of just jump right into it.
Yeah, they're called Apex missions. And not only that, there's actually an app you can use also for your mobile devices where you could send your team off. So, like, if you're at work and you still want to collect some rewards, you can send your teams off through that.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, I learned about that on Saturday, and I've been using that.
What is this app?
It collects resources if it's anything like Mass Effect 3.
It is just called Apex HQ.
Yep, there it is. I'm looking it up on my phone as we speak.
I actually used that app on Mass Effect 3, so I didn't have to play the multiplayer, because you could still collect resources and get your galactic your readiness level up to 100 just by using that app. And I never touched the multiplayer, because the cool thing about Mass Effect 3's trophies were the ones that were multiplayer, they had conditions in single player that you could do, and it would still pop. Like, you could do X amount of rounds in multiplayer, or you could get all gold on these missions in single player.
That's still there.
Which I feel is really nice, like a nice compromise. If you don't want to dick around with the multiplayer, you can still accomplish.
Yeah, it's like that here too. But I have a lot of friends on here, so we can do the multiplayer.
Rub it in.
You and your Xbox friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have either of you beaten the game?
No. I am like, because there is a lot to this game. There's a lot to this world, and the main point of this game is, you're the Pathfinder. You're here in this new galaxy that human, all these races can survive on. And I've only visited 2 planets and have gotten them to 100%. Because that's me. I'm like, I'm not going to do the bare minimum. No, I got to get 100% on this planet. I'm not a completionist because I'm not going to do all the side tasks. That's my wife. I'm just making sure each planet is ready.
That's fair. Like, I left Eos with 70% before I wanted to keep moving on. But I do like that idea.
You have to go back to eventually get 100 on that.
Oh, I'm gonna have. Okay, that's fine. Either way, I do really like that idea. Like, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, but the map in this game is ginormous.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Like I was wondering why they were bringing back another, tank-like vehicle, because in the first game, you had the Mako tank, which is like, all right, it's fun, but I don't want to keep driving this all the time. In this game, you need it so you can get around these planets.
Yeah. It's nice that each planet has a nice set of quick...
Yeah.
What the hell is the word I'm looking for?
Fast
travel.
Fast travel, yeah.
Lord almighty. Yeah, each map has its own fast travel, which is really nice. But, Mike, I'll send you a screenshot later. It's incredible. I really did not expect this. Like, when you first started up, there's maybe... when you look at the world map, and I say world map like any other game, not just a world. When you're looking at the main map, there's 3 levels to it. There's 3 tiers. There's the planet you're looking at, that you're about to land on. Go out further, and you're looking at the solar system. And within that solar system, there's maybe 5 planets that you can land on. Okay. Come out one more time to the galaxy, and in the galaxy, there's maybe 25 solar systems.
So it's kind of like Mass Effect 2.
Yeah.
Now, stupid plot question, but how do you move around in the Andromeda galaxy? Are there mass relays over there? Or nope. Okay.
No mass, because it's all one galaxy now, one system. So it's not like you're going to multiple systems through Mass Effect. Or at least this one, you have your ship, the Tempest.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
And that's what you use to travel to all the different planets.
Okay.
And the different systems.
All right. So there's no point for the mass relays like back in the Milky Way.
Right.
Okay. All right, cool.
It reminds me very much of Destiny, being able to go in and out of different solar systems and planets from a ship.
Okay.
In fact, it's making me really, really want Destiny 2. I keep telling Josh that's all I want. I know, I'm so excited.
Yeah, I haven't decided if I'm going to get in on that one.
No, you are. You are. Even if I have to buy it for you, you are getting on this one.
Well,
Mike, hold out.
You're at very least going to hop on the beta with us in June because we're going to be doing a big segment on that.
Well, see, I did that with the original Destiny. I just pre-ordered it through Amazon, got my beta code, and then canceled it. So,
there's no canceling for Destiny 2, buddy. You're in it.
You say that. So how's the story? I guess I love stories, so that's kind of important to me. So how would you say the story is in Andromeda compared to like the original trilogy?
Eric?
Does it have like a hook? I mean,
the main hook is, like I said, you're the Pathfinder. You that's the hook.
Okay.
What I can really compare this to, like, if you're asking me which one of the original trilogies this game most reminds me of, it is Mass Effect 1. Because, again,
it's setting something up.
It's setting something up. Like, so, like, when you do, like, Drama 2 or 3, we're going to look back at one's like, why is there an inventory system again? We didn't need this the last. Why do we have to spend, all this time on a ship when we just want to go out and meet aliens and explore? Again, because that's what they did in the first Mass Effect game.
I could not. I got to my first planet in Mass Effect 1, and it's like, I can't play. Like, these controls are atrocious. It's like, I stopped. Like, I couldn't.
Oh, yeah. Well, the controls this time around aren't bad.
It takes a minute to get used to.
Because, again, especially if you play the original trilogy, because it's completely different than the other two.
Okay.
Because, like I said, Tony mentioned it earlier, you only have 3 powers this time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
Huh. Yeah, so it's not like, like if you're a Vanguard, you could have these powers, and then you can have like a different ammo power, but you only have 3 that are hotkeyed, and those are the 3 you get unless you get other powers and you have to switch them out.
All right.
But yeah, they're interchangeable.
Cool.
But Mike, being on a PS4, you'll be able to appreciate the pain when it comes. You'll be able to hear, it's like when you open up your weapon wheel, it's the pad. It's that little pad on the controller.
Oh, the touchpad?
Yeah.
Okay.
You press that, and that'll open up your wheel. However, if you want to, like, holster your gun, you have to hold that pad in to holster your gun. So, like, when you're exploring and you're just walking around in third-person view and you're doing your thing, and all of a sudden you pull your gun out, you gotta, like, fumble through a couple of different button options to be able to get back to where you want to, and that's kind of what took me the longest time to get the hang of.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't like about this game, because on the Xbox, we don't have anything like that. But, like, in the previous games, like, you see an enemy approaching, you can hit a button and start a fight, use one of your powers, or you can just go ahead and start firing. This one, you have to draw your gun first, then you can start attacking.
Yep, to a group of people just from exploring mode and try to do like my little Titan fist slam on the ground and hit a bunch of people with my shockwave. Nope, I'm just standing there like a fucking goon until I pull out my gun and then I can do it.
Hey everyone, I'm just here talking.
Yeah.
What's up?
Just jump right into the middle of it. Hey guys, let me tell you something about our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Let me tell you about Shepard.
About a poor, poor man who's no longer with us. Overall, though, I mean, I gotta say, I'm disappointed in that my expectations were super high for something else. But as I've been playing it, I have a love-hate relationship for it.
All right.
So, like, I hate that I want to keep playing it. And I love that I hate that I want to keep playing it.
Yeah, my only con to this is some of the characters, because that's what was great about the Mass Effect trilogy. You had great characters like Garrus, Rex, Tali, Liara. These new characters, again, I'm just comparing them to those. So I'm like, they're not there yet. I mean, there's this really cool Asari that you do meet named PP. She's an awesome. And then the other thing is there's some controls and some graphic things, but because again, I just love it when my characters, when people I'm talking to just run off for no reason.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of any of that. Although it is kind of cool that you can interchange your partners.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the other drawback too. I don't like is you can't change your weapons during combat or like pick another assault rifle or anything like that. You can only do that from the ship or if you're at one of the
fast travel spots. Yeah. Or like when you're about to go into a boss fight, it'll say, go ahead and change your loadout. There is, however, I was on the asteroid. And in one of the rooms, there was like a loadout machine where I was able to actually change my loadout without having to do a fast travel or whatever. So if that was there, then I can only imagine it'll be elsewhere. But the other thing, too, is like I got a sniper rifle because I wanted to try that. And when you equip more weapons, it weighs you down.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of lame.
Well, that's a mechanic from this, I think, started Mass Effect 2. or at least in 3, there's that effect where if you have too many weapons, it'll slow you down. But that's just a mechanic you have to work around regardless.
True. Like I stopped using the sniper rifle in general. So.
Well, I usually roll with a shotgun and a assault rifle.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing lately. I mean, overall, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody unless you have the time for it, because this game is going to be like a 100-hour game.
Yeah. Like I was talking to one of my friends, he's like, I like the original Mass Effect games. They're about 30, 40-hour games. Like, yeah, not this time around.
No. Like, I think in one of the previous episodes when we were talking about Final Fantasy 15, I locked 110 hours in Final Fantasy 15 and did absolutely everything there is to do in that game. That's kind of where this one's going to go, and that's not doing everything. That's just finishing the main story.
Yep, I can see that.
I mean, I guess that's nice from like a value standpoint.
Well, also because the other thing is, I don't think they're doing DLC. I haven't heard anything.
Yeah, no, that's weird. That's a second game now, and that they haven't announced any kind of season pass or anything.
Yeah, because I remember I was at GameStop. I was about ready to be like, all right, here's the sales pitch. What's the day one DLC? Nope, no DLC with this. I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Well, the original Mass Effect trilogy wasn't really big on DLC. You had that Shadow Broker for 2, and then what was it for 3? The Citadel or something. So it was only like one DLC.
Well, let's see. With Mass Effect 2, there was the day one DLC for Zahid, and then for Mass Effect 3, there was the other day one DLC to get the Prothean.
Oh, well, for Mass Effect 2 on PS3, Zahid was included, so I guess I didn't know he was a DLC character. I did not get the Prothean because I didn't pre-order the dumb thing, but I mean, like major content. It was only like one story pack per installment, I feel, because it was Lair the Shadow Broker for 2 and then Citadel for 3, or was there more than that?
Oh, there was more for both.
Was there?
Oh, yeah. For 2, there was the Kasumi mission. Kasumi was an additional character that was DLC, and then there was also Project Overlord.
Yeah, it's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, and then for Mass Effect 3, you had the Citadel, the Leviathan.
Forgot about the Leviathan one. Yep. Maybe EA's finally learned from its wicked ways, and it's just going to be multiplayer DLC.
Oh, that's nice.
Like Rockstar. Can I say that just makes me very worried for Red Dead 2? That's all I'm going to say.
Well, if it's anything like Redemption, where they had 8 fucking DLC packs.
You think that's bad? Look at GTA 5.
I tend not to.
Yeah.
I ended that with San Andreas.
So if you had to rate it, what would you say? I mean, it seems like there's some issues with it, but they don't seem to be too glaring.
Eric, why don't you go ahead and give the initial rating on that one? Cause,
okay, if I was going to rate this on a scale of the Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice trailers, I would say this is definitely the second trailer where there's a lot of promise, there's a lot of hope, but you still have some reservations. Now, I would give this, if we're going with the out of 5, I would give it a 4, because this is more of a game meant for people who've played the original trilogy. If you played that, you will appreciate it more. It's like, Tony, how you were talking about earlier, how like you had to go through and read through all the powers.
Yep.
Me, when I saw those powers, I knew exactly what each one did. So I didn't even need to spend the time reading. I was just like, come on, let me start shooting.
That's totally understandable. In fact, even from a story standpoint.
Ladies or men, that's your thing.
I imagine as such. All right, so that's kind of cool in a sense that we're both on different ends of the spectrum for this game. You're somebody who's played the trilogy and is also somebody who has not played the trilogy but still was interested in this new adaptation. With that being said, out of all of my downfalls and my positivity that I was able to bring to it, I still kind of want to give it a 3 out of 5 rating. It's good. It's keeping me playing, but there's so much I dislike about it to keep me from playing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Like I said, and for me, it's just I want to keep playing. I want to see the other worlds. I want to see what the ending is like.
That's all I want. I just want to not go up into the Nexus for 4 hours talking to people about stupid shit. Like, I find myself skipping a lot of this stuff, so I don't know what's going on in the main story for the most part. I just want to get on the planet and start exploring. That's it. Start shooting people, getting inside these vaults, fighting the bosses. That's all I want to do.
Right on.
Not bad. Got any last minute thoughts you want to talk about in reference to any of the games that we talked about this evening? We've got Night in the Woods. What was yours, Eric?
Gang Beats.
Gang Beats. Yeah, and then we had The Witness, Horizon Zero Dawn, and now Mass Effect. Any last minute notes on any of these you want to talk about?
Not
I'm
really.
good.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so then let's see, what do we got coming up? In April, we've got two games that are worth looking into. We got Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5, which is actually releasing in approximately 5 hours. So I guess that's not really in April, but we'll be discussing it in April nonetheless. Josh will be
It's
back.
close enough.
Yep.
Josh recovers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Josh recovers. He gets over his hangover, and he's going to be back to Kingdom Hearts. Let's see, we also have Outlast 2, which comes out on the 25th of April. It's actually only a $30 game. It's not a full 60, which is going to be really cool. I was a big fan of the first one. There's actually a video up on the channel of like a scream reel where it's just me screaming. Yeah, so we'll be doing a midnight release on that one in the dark, probably with a little bit of assistance from an unspeakable, you know what I'm talking about. And then
I do. I was gonna say, and speaking of reactions, we're gonna finally put up that Resident Evil VR that I helped you with.
That's right. I still have this Resident Evil 7 VR experience with the Ramble On boys, Eric and Dan, as well as a couple of females. I'm still in the process of trying to edit that. There's a lot of video to go through. I'm really trying to get it out. It's getting better though. I'm actually too comfortable with it. Not releasing it just yet, but hopefully soon. And believe me, you'll be the first to see it, my friend.
Yay.
And Mike, you still need to try and get into VR if you ever get a chance.
Yeah, at some point.
And then let's see.
It's like 3D. I just don't see the point. I feel it's a gimmick. So
Eric, will you be so kind as to explain to Mike that it's not so much as a gimmick?
I don't know. With that Resident Evil game, there was some things that were gimmicky. I had a blast though until I really started getting sick. Motion sickness.
Don't spoil the video. I want surprises.
Yeah, don't worry.
Oh, don't worry. My commentary is worth the price of admission.
It's true story.
So it's worth free?
Yes.
I got 3 games I want to shout out for next month, if you don't mind, Tony.
Yeah, what you got?
Well, it's not kind of like Kingdom, but tomorrow Rain World releases, which I will be doing a playthrough for on the channel.
Yeah, I'll be watching
Also, I know, that looks fun, doesn't it? Also, we got Yooka-Laylee, which is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. That comes out. I thought that was May. No, it is actually April 11th, which has a $40 price tag, which, back to our Witness conversation, I might actually wait on, but I do love me some Banjo-Kazooie. And then finally, a little indie game called Little Nightmares. It's like it's a side-scrolling platformer. It looks like a Tim Burton film. There's some like weird, surreal, grotesque stuff going on. So I'll probably stream that as well for the channel, so I'm excited for that. And that is April 28th. Nice. Got some good games coming up.
Yeah, actually, I'm surprised. It's like more and more keep popping up.
Outlast.
Yeah, Outlast. Coming out in May. The only thing I have slated right now is Injustice 2, which we'll also do a release for.
See, it's that time of year where it's a dry spout because, E3 is right around the corner.
Yeah, everyone's waiting to show everything there.
True. I'm really hoping to see. I mean, I know we're going to see Destiny. And I want to see God of War.
I'm looking forward to Red Dead 2.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Other than that, there's not really anything, like, unless there's some, like, massive surprises, like, there's not really anything coming out in the fall besides
Spider-Man.
Destiny and Red Dead. Has that been confirmed for this year?
No.
That does look good, though. It's basically like Infamous, but you're Spider-Man.
Yep, Sandbox Spider-Man. Yeah, that's about it for May. Do you know anything that's coming out here, Eric?
Not that I'm aware of now.
Coolio.
Cool. Well, that's gonna go ahead and wrap up this edition of our little shindig we have going on here. Eric, would you like to go ahead and plug away?
Oh, absolutely. You can follow my podcast, Ramble On About Movies podcast, on Facebook at our Facebook page, Ramble On About Movies. You can also find us on the social medias as Ramble On Movies, because you can't Ramble On Movies, because you can't add the word about. But you can find us we have a YouTube channel. We're also on Twitter. If you like movies, you want to hear me and Handsome Dan's thoughts and opinions on movies, subjects, stuff like that, always give us a check out. We also do the Rumbles, which Tony is always willing to help out on, which we greatly appreciate.
Yeah.
And then you can also follow me personally on Twitter at handsome_cheese.
Right on. Very well. Mike, you got anything going on?
Nah, play games, sleep, work, repeat.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah. No, I don't
Simple.
know. I'm simple, man. I mean, I'm usually on PSN. I don't really do multiplayer games. I don't know. Don't really do the social media stuff because I'm not popular or pretty like Tony. So
Oh, don't
None
let
of us
that
are.
stick.
none of us are.
Oh, stop. You're making me blush.
Yeah, I still got those 3 passion points.
That's true, and don't think that you're going to be able to redeem them here, my friend. Those come later.
Woohoo! That's why we got video on Skype.
Damn right. So, and if you want to go ahead and follow me, you can follow me on Instagram as The Real Anthony Dane. I also have a Facebook page open, The Real Anthony Dane Cosplay. I do a lot of events in cosplay with different characters. In fact, I just finished doing WizCon in Cleveland with the Riddler, so that's kind of up. I got 4 more events coming up this year. I've got Sandusky Colossal Con in June, Chicago Wizard World in August, Columbus Wiz World in August as well, and then a couple of Renfest here in September. So please follow me, Real Anthony Dane, and then also follow the podcast, obviously, at Casual Criticz. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and that's about it as of right now. Please follow Ramble On About Movies, because you can not only hear Eric's beautiful voice, but you'll also have me from time to time. So. There it is. So that'll be it from us.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Hey, anytime I get to talk about Mass Effect, it's a good day.
All right. Until next time, guys.